Jason, are you in your car again? Why can't we see you?
You missed the story. So my wife had surgery yesterday down here in Oakland at Kaiser, and I'm coming home empty-handed again. I was down there this afternoon with her, but she's still recovering. So driving back, well, I'm not driving, I'm crawling back on I-80 right now. And yes, this is the short answer. I'm in my car.
All of the best business is conducted behind the wheel, I think.
Well, I'm not a trucker.
No, I just feel like every conversation we've ever had, you or me or both of us are driving.
That's true. It is a mobile office.
Exactly.
Okay, well, looks like we are all present. The time is 6:31.
Recording in progress.
Great. Okay. Very good. So we'll have our call to order. This is our regular Parks and Community Services Commission meeting. The date is December 9th, 2021. The time is 6:31. Can we have a volunteer to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, well, seeing nobody, I'll go ahead and do it. So, there we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Liz, we have a meeting announcement.
Yes. So pursuant to AB 361, this meeting will be held entirely virtually. All methods available for public participation are detailed on the first page of this agenda. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you. May we have our roll call, please?
Yes. Honorary Commissioner Munn? Here. Thank you. Commissioner Griggs?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Sabente?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Margolotti?
Here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Einberger?
Here.
Thank you. And Chair Mamro?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, so at this time, we're opening up the floor for public comments. If we have any, anyone that's viewing our commission meeting is free to raise their hand, and we will recognize you for public comments.
Chair Mamro, looks like we have one public comment from Justin Hamilton Hull. I'll go ahead and give him permission to talk.
Okay.
Justin, are you with us?
Yes, this. Thank you. And I'm gonna say wish Merry Christmas to all from Mary Ken and from Dawson Way. I didn't know that today I went down to Dawson Way parking lot with my dog and just doing every year out there when parents pick up the kids and to have my Christmas shirt on, and I hope you will see me Dawson Way before I go on winter break. My second one is I hope Jason know or Rick Cooper know there's an update from the Karen Dunmore built new house on the hill. So I'm very patient. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hull. It looks like you're on mute. Oh, you're back. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm back. So I'm gonna say Merry Christmas to all.
And to you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for your public comment. Okay, Liz, are there any more viewers Okay, any other viewers, you're free to raise your hand and be recognized for public comment.
Chairman, it looks like we have no other public comments at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on. Whether any, if any commissioners have any changes to the order of the agenda or want to discuss a consent item, you may do so now. Also, members of the public can discuss a consent item. Okay, so seeing no changes, we'll move on to the consent calendar. First is the minutes of September 9th, 2021. Hope you all had a chance to view them for accuracy. So do we have a motion on the minutes of September 9th, 2021?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of September 9th, I think you said, 2021.
And I second it.
Okay, all approve, or we'll vote. Do we all, oh yeah. Everyone accepting the minutes of September 9th, 2021, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, no opposition, motion passes. Okay, same thing for the minutes of October 14th, 2021. Any changes or revisions? Okay, seeing none, can we please have a motion on the minutes of October 14th, 2021?
I motion to approve the minutes of October 14th, 2021.
And I second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, no opposition, motion passes. So moving on to the next, our business item, which is the 2022 Parks and Community Services Commission meeting calendar. Jason, you want to,
Yes,
yeah,
Chair,
would you
thank
like
you.
to Intro?
Yeah, Chair, thank you, Chair, Commissioners. Liz is in the process of sharing the calendar. Essentially, we're modifying next year's calendar to be comparable to what the City Council does. We will not have a meeting in January nor a meeting in July. Just like the Council takes a recess during those periods. We're doing that to just better align with the City Council calendar to begin with. Otherwise, we have our regular meeting dates each month. Of course, if there's not any business for the commission, then we would cancel it. But generally, this is the calendar as it lays out for next year, and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, well, the floor is open for any commissioner questions.
I think it looks good. July, usually we don't have any meetings anyway, so it's just, it's the same as it has been for, since I've been commissioner. January, it really makes sense because everybody's coming back from break, so it will be really rushed. The only thing that I'm wondering is, are we gonna have any combined meetings with council?
That's a good question. The answer is yes, definitely. The date, though, I don't think has been selected yet.
Okay.
We're starting to plan out the council agenda for the first quarter of next year. We definitely need to work in something with PCS. So The answer is yes, although I don't have a date yet. I would imagine, sometime early to late spring is my hunch right now.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Cervente. Any other comments on the PCS OSAC meeting calendar? Okay, don't hear any. I also, my only comment, yes, calendar looks good. Heads up for my fellow commissioners, I'll be at the CPRS conference in Sacramento is from March 8, 9, 10. So I'll be attending that. So, and with regard to any joint meetings with either City Council or OSAC, that has, in the past, I know that has typically happened on an ad hoc basis, depending on the issue. So, Jason, that would continue. We just confer about whether a special meeting is necessary, correct?
Yes, correct. And my hunch is any time we would get together with City Council, it would be on a City Council night, most likely. So, or a special meeting night. So, those would be most likely in addition to the regular calendar for PCS.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Well, seeing as the calendar looks good, do we have a motion to? Can we have a motion to recommend the 2022 Parks and Community Services meeting calendar?
I move that we accept the meeting calendar for 2022 for PCS.
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No opposition, the motion carries. We're adopting the calendar. Thank you. Okay, so next item is management and staff reports, beginning with a special events update.
Yes, thank you, Chair. On Tuesday night, staff gave an update to the City Council about some of the recent special events that have been going on, working backwards from Magic of the Season over the weekend, and talking briefly about the Veterans Day event, some of the volunteer events that we've had, some of the partnerships that we've been working on with other community groups. And so it was a very well received presentation to the City Council, and I think staff is sufficiently worn out from the year because it's been a very long, hard year with a lot of things going on, and they're happy to kind of get into this break period now with a little bit of rest. Our next we don't have any major events in the calendar over the next 30 so days. So it was, like I said, it's very well received. I had made some comments to council, and I'll kind of repeat them here. As we start thinking about, how the Park and Rec Department in particular looks and feels after the pandemic, we absolutely need to focus on resources and making sure that we have adequate resources in this department, and how this department really aligns with a lot of the community values. So it's my way of kind of prefacing a conversation that will show up at budget time, in the March and April period, and it's something I know that PCS is, keenly aware of and interested in. So, as we begin to start framing out what that looks like, certainly we'll be engaging this group in those conversations. Whether it's additional part-time staff, whether it's additional full-time staff, beyond just leveraging the resources we have with community groups, we are, and we're also kind of hearing, you know, in our community groups are kind of tired too. And so, you know, everyone definitely exhausted from the last, you know, 20-ish months or so. We've got to be looking at the resources that are allocated to the department and really you know, making sure that we have our needs addressed. So I made those comments, essentially those comments to the council after staff had given their presentation. And again, like I said, it was very well received.
Very good. Thank you very much. So the floor is open for commissioner comments and questions.
Okay, I'll go first. So I think that it is a great idea to address the staffing within Parks and Rec related to the workload and make sure that it is reasonable and it aligns. And we're using our community partners, but at the same time not assuming that any one entity is going to do all the work, but it's going to be a true partnership amongst all the groups. We went to the tree lighting and absolutely loved it. It was so nice to be out with all our community members. Alana and Stacy did such a great job. I know that there's lots of work in the background as well. Lots of lights on the tree this year. It looked very professionally done. Clarence with his awesome Phil AM's singing group, and we all sang together. It made me feel like I was on the set of Elf. So it was really great. Really enjoyed it. It did bring to light the fact that I believe we need to look at much better lighting in and around the park. You know, we don't have a lot of ground cover left in the bark boxes off the sidewalk. So there's like a 3 to 4 inch drop off between the sidewalk and the bark boxes. And then there's the curb down to the street. And you really had to be very careful walking around that you didn't trip or fall. And it made me concerned for our younger members of our community and our older members of our community who may not, you know, who may have difficulty with ambulation and not have as good a footing as, you know, our 20 and 30-year-olds who, if they trip and fall, they can probably recover. But I would hate to see someone get injured. Just maybe some, you know, ground lighting, some solar lights that really it's just the upfront cost of the light and they're not even that expensive and then they power themselves. Just for some sidewalk lighting, some trail lighting, and even some better lighting around like where the marketplace was set up and the slide was set up. It just seemed a little dark. And I did hear that from other community members as well. And then I loved the little parade, it was great. But I'm also wondering what the reach was out to the community to get people to participate in the parade, because my husband had to walk back home to get something and come back, and he was about 2.5 minutes late for the parade starting, and it was over. So that was a little sad that it was so short and sweet. And I know that it's, you know, that we were just trying to come out of the pandemic here, but in years past, there hasn't been very many entrants either. And I don't know if anybody reached out to the American Canyon High School Choir, but I'm sure that Mr. Butler would have been happy to have PDA perform as well. So including those community members, maybe a float building day where we use the PWAC parking lot for people to come and build their floats would encourage community involvement and encourage more community groups to put a float in the parade, which could be fun. And that's really it that I have to say about the special events. We had a great time. I even went down the slide. I was strong-armed into that, but it was fun. And the swing too. That was too much. That's a 25 and under event for future consideration. And then the only announcement I have is the ACHS Choir Crab Feed January 29th, 2022, we're having a hybrid event, so you can come in person if you are vaccinated or have negative COVID test within 72 hours of the event. And all of the workers will also have to fit those same requirements. Or you can do a drive-up pickup for 2 or 4. So we're trying to appeal to everyone. Very excited to get back together again, but know that everyone might not be ready for that. And so you can get tickets at achschoir.com. They're using the Better World fundraising platform to sell tickets. There will be a virtual auction and an in-person auction and a live auction. So that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Griggs. Commissioner Einberger, or sorry,
Yeah.
Vice Chair Einberger.
Yeah, I would second what Commissioner Griggs said about the lighting. We unfortunately, Seroptimus, we didn't take a lantern and it was so dark. It was so dark and it was kind of scary with people coming up and tripping. And of course we were tripping too because we couldn't see where we were going. So I really would second the fact that we need to do something about that. But I didn't get a chance to walk around really because I was in the Seroptimus booth, but there certainly was a lot of excitement and it looked great. As far as comments, the only one I have is for Seroptimus, or once again doing senior bags. So we have 100 senior bags. Well, we gave 25 away at the reindeer run, and Saturday we're giving 25 away each at Las Casitas and Senior Center, hopefully anyway. And then on Monday, we're going to Valley View. So we've had a lot of very generous donations from the community to put in those bags. So yeah, I do a shout out to all those people. We tried to do that on Facebook too, but again, the community has been super, super generous. And we're happy to be able to do that. You know, 100 seniors, it really brings them out. There are some things in those bags that can decrease their isolation and yeah, so that's all I have.
Hey. Great, thank you, Vice Chair Einberger. And I suppose, like a friendly reminder at this point that we, Commissioner comments are open at the end of the, toward the end of the meeting for, you know, public service announcements and stuff. Very important. No, it's okay, very important, but and we'll make sure we throw them all at the end, otherwise I might not be thinking about that stuff. Okay. Okay, any other commissioner comments? Questions?
Just a big thanks to the staff at the Parks and Rec for all that they've been doing. I know fatigue has started to set, but the community is very thankful for all of the events that they have done during November and now in December. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Sorrente. Okay, yes, my comments regarding the tree lighting. I was very pleasantly surprised at the number of people that that showed up at the event. Seems to me that shows the you know, our people are eager to get back out there and you know, attend events and use parks and you know, all the things that are, you know, very, very important department has been doing and will continue to do. Completely agree with you, Commissioner Griggs, on the tree lighting. Gosh, and I was thankful that the Seroptimus were selling lighted things, like, you know, light you know, fun light items. That came in handy. So great. Okay, so no motions are needed. We're just accepting the report on the special events update.
Yeah, Chair, if I may, I just wanted to kind of follow up. Yeah, I agree. I was out there with my kids, and they were actually over at the playground, and I had kind of a similar thought. I wasn't really excited about how dark it was related to the playground and them running around having fun, and it dawned on me that it was a relatively clear night. You know, had it actually been raining or even darker with cloud cover, you might have, that would have been worse. So it's something we got to think about. It is one of those sporadic, annual type events. And so we're gonna have to think about the lighting as to whether we would do more temporary lighting for that night as opposed to some permanent lighting, or some different ideas we gotta kind of toss out there. But I had the same conclusion in my mind as I was watching my kids on the playground. The other piece to this on the parade, it's sort of a token parade, right? I mean, it's relatively short and really not even, the focus of the event necessarily, kind of one of the early pieces of it. I think if we're going to end up with something more robust and a bigger, I'll call it more bona fide type parade, we're probably going to really have to partner with another group. We partnered this year with the chamber, to put the marketplace together, and they really ran and led all that effort, and that's why we're able to do it. And we really have our hands full with the entirety of the event, pulling together a parade component. I think we probably need a group, and maybe there's a group out there interested in doing something. I don't know that we would be able to expand that too much with our current sort of other responsibilities that day, but it's a fair point, and we definitely appreciate all of the feedback. And also, I will definitely pass on to staff the gratitude that all of you have expressed.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Thank you very much. I guess, back in 2018, Commissioner Cerventi and I were in the parade, and I recall that there was a prize and gift certificates involved. So
sure.
Yeah, so that might be something that just something to keep in mind to draw more participants in the parade. We were, the rug was pulled out from under us for the past couple of years, but now as we're approaching it, good to kind of take a look at the old at the former ideas that made sense.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Next item is the Parks and Recreation Director recruitment update.
Chairman Morrell?
Yes.
Sorry, if I just want to say one more thing about the lighting, based on Mr. Hawley's comment. As someone who lives in Vintage Ranch and walks their dog every single day, the full loop of the neighborhood, especially in the winter hours when I am headed out for my walk between 4:30 and 5 p.m. and it is fully dark by the time I get home, I would definitely throw my vote in for more permanent lighting along all the walkways and trails, especially along Silver Oak, Shenandoah, and up on Newell. It's very dark, and there are a lot of people out. That's all.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
May I add something? Silver Oak, it's a park that is next to a school, and the school has a Boys and Girls Club. So there are a lot of children there, and it will be really beneficial to those families and children to have better lighting. So thank you. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's great feedback. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's an overall issue of permanent lighting as well as a sub-issue of temporary event lighting. I don't think anybody had any complaints about the lighting in the marketplace area. That was quite bright. It was only in the park area where there could be some improvements. So, well, thanks everybody. Very, very good feedback. Okay, thank you. Next item, Parks and Recreation Director recruitment update. We'll hand it over to you, Jason.
Yes, Chair and Commissioners, thank you. Tomorrow, a very exciting day. First round interviews. Thank you, Commissioner Griggs and Commissioner Margolotti for joining us. We've a little bit of a departure from when we last talked to this group. We are convening actually two different panels so that each candidate will talk to two different groups. We have kind of a community panel and then a professional panel, all at the same time, just kind of back to back. And we've been able to pull that together, so we're excited. Each candidate will get the same questions. And we are, unfortunately, we had started out with 8 that had been invited into this process. 2 of those folks have actually withdrawn between then and now. And so tomorrow will only consist of 6 candidates that will be interviewed. And then following week is when we plan to have second round interviews. So the process, the recruiter began the process. I don't know the total number of applications received, but there were 19 of which that had, a general level of reasonableness to them. And so he talked to all 19 of them. And that was a group that we whittled down to 8, and then 2 have withdrawn now, so we're down to 6. But we're very pleased with the 6 that are in the running, and we'll see how tomorrow shakes out. And anyway, exciting day tomorrow. Hopefully, Kathy and Gina, you've got all the information you have. We've been able to get all the emails, and you have all the contact information and everything.
Thanks to Gina, I do. I didn't get it. Gina forwarded it to me, so.
Oh goodness. Okay. Well, I'm glad you have it. We'll have to get that email thing sorted out.
I don't know. Maybe it went to my junk mail, but I got it from Gina. I've got connections, so I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I printed everything, so I may have a few questions about what I'm supposed to do with some of it, but I guess maybe I can ask those questions if it's unclear at the time.
Yeah, so we're getting together at 8:30, the 2 panels, myself and everyone who's not the interviewees, but the folks who are participating, and we'll sort out, day of final details.
Great, thank you.
I have a question. So final interviews are next week. What's the time frame for selecting a candidate after that? And once they're selected, are they selected, or does it have to go through another process after that through city council, or what happens after next week?
Sure, great question, Commissioner Margolotti. So next Friday, the 17th, will be what we're calling the second round interviews. And after the second round interviews are completed, we should have a sense of who our preferred candidate is. At that point, the following week, either that Monday or Tuesday, I will most likely sit down with that candidate again and really, have a kind of final kind of interview, but it's more of a, we're kind of interviewing each other at that point. It's a final conversation, I'll call that. And I go into those final conversations with an offer prepared, and with the expectation that goes well, and I'm ready to give them the offer. So the decision on whom to hire is mine, and I have the authority to provide the offer. And so we usually have it drafted up, and whether I do it in writing there or we might modify it and send it to them later that afternoon. So the goal is to then make an offer before the holiday. From there, oftentimes there's a bit of a negotiation. There's a bit of a, reality check with them and their current employer and when they might be able to start, that sort of thing. If relocation's involved, then of course start date's going to be a little bit longer. Just depending on their ability to be able to come here. So that's kind of generally how it passes out. It does not have to go to city council or anything like that.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Hawley, are Commissioner Margolotti and I part of the final round panelist interviewers, part of that process on the 17th?
No, you all will just be participating tomorrow.
Okay, great, thank you.
And, let's see, I'm curious, the second round interviews, who is that conducted by?
It's still a little bit up in the air at the moment. It's probably going to be myself and our assistant city manager, Maria Ojeda. I have been talking to American Canyon Community Parks Foundation Executive Director Janelle Selleck, and want to include her in that process as well. It's going to depend a little bit on whom we're talking to, and you know, I don't have any final decisions. We haven't even written the questions. A lot will be determined, you know, tomorrow. And so, you know, we've been in touch with Janelle and said, look, we want to have you be a part of that second round process, but it has to still get confirmed. We'll have to see how tomorrow plays out. If everything, you know, plays out and we have a group that we do want to talk to, you know, there's always a range of possibilities during these interview processes. It's possible that none of the candidates are good. It's possible that the groups tomorrow can't make a decision. So there's a sort of range of possibilities. But if the group is able to, get us down to 3 to 4, we'd like to also have, so I'll have Maria and Janelle joining me, and we will then talk to that group. And then from there, the decision really lands in my court to make some final decisions.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. Okay, the floor is still open for any questions or comments from the commissioners.
General comments on anything, or just this particular?
On this, thank you, Commissioner Saventi. On this particular issue, the issue of director recruitment.
Thank you.
Okay, I think seeing none, no motion needed. We'll just accept the update on the Parks and Recreation Director recruitment. Okay, and the last item is Commissioner comments and future items for consideration. So floor is open. Anyone can start.
I'll go ahead and jump in real quick. Putting on my American Canyon Community and Parks Foundation hat. We are looking for community artists. The Hearts Your Parks is coming up in February. And we are looking for people who might be interested in being an artist and submitting a form on acparks.org, and it's Heart Your Parks, so just looking on the website. And we're looking for the interest forms to be submitted by December 13th. And it's open to any amateur, hobbyist, professional artists age 10 and up. So go on to the website and check that out. And we're going to have a great event month going on in February with all kinds of fun things. Be on the lookout for that information.
I'll go next. Just a couple of things. The after school sports, we have a badminton, co-ed badminton coming up. But my comment about it is that it was supposed to be on the website activity page, the activecommunities.com, for students of middle school to register. I was told this week, and as of right now, it's not on. We only have one more week before winter break, and it will be really nice to push these after-school activities that you are graciously providing to our students, and that they can actually go and register. So if you can do a follow-up of that, that would be great. And the other one is the Adopt a Family, the Kiwanis of American Canyon Adopt a Family event is happening. So far we have 31 families from the city, and they are families that attend our schools. They were nominated by the school's team of nurses, community liaisons, principals, secretaries. They all got together and nominated a lot of our needed families. So if anyone wants to donate to it, they can send checks to Kiwanis OAC. And also many thanks to Soroptimist for adopting a family, Lions Club, and many private residents here in town. The love is really filling our hearts. So thank you.
Well, I already gave mine out of turn, but anyway, I wanted to ask Jason about the senior center. If there's a date for when the senior center is going to become not the senior center, but the adult activity center or some other name, but when that's going to happen, we've been waiting a long time. So I was just curious if that's going to be coming down the pike here soon.
No, that's a great question, Vice Chair Ingberger. We've got it penciled for the February 1st council meeting right now on the agenda forecast. So I know that the issue previously came to PCS and there was support for it, and we've actually received a grant. Staff very ambitiously went and applied for and received a grant from, I cannot even remember what agency it was, but we have received a grant that will help us with some of the costs related to the name change.
Great.
Yeah, so that's in the works for February 1st.
Okay, exciting, thank you.
I'm really glad you brought that up. One of the things that I've asked staff to go back and look and to kind of think about is the natural questions of, rebranding is one thing and a name change is, one thing, and it's helpful, but what does this actually mean? What are some of the changes? What does this mean as we come out of COVID, that sort of thing? So expect to see some additional comments, particularly at the council meeting, around those kind of ideas. And, they're not going to have all the answers. We don't have, it's not a name change with just a complete reworking of everything. It will, step in over time, but there is a natural question of what's different besides the name. And so we've asked staff to be prepared to answer those questions too.
Great, thank you.
Okay, I'll go next. I already talked about the crab feed a little early, sorry. But that is January 29th, 2022. And my items for future consideration, I would love to see all of your beautiful faces in person. And we had an in-person Veterans Day event. We had in-person tree lighting, and Napa City Hall is back open. Tonight, Napa City Council is holding their first in-person meeting. And I am honestly having difficulty understanding why our City Hall is not open and why we are not having in-person meetings. And I would love to move towards that. I would love to return to that. It doesn't seem necessary anymore for us to be, continue to be virtual given everything else that is going on in person. So I'm gonna keep saying it until I can sit across the room from you. And other items for future consideration is I would love to see us bring the farmers market back. I think it needs a different location. So there are many options, but something that would have a lot of optics and maybe get a lot more drive-through traffic would be if we utilized the west portion of the Walmart parking lot. It's a big parking lot. Maybe we can partner with Walmart and whoever owns the parking lot and utilize that space. But like I said, it was really great when it happened. I think it just didn't get enough. It wasn't obvious enough where it was located. And so people who maybe would have stopped if they were just driving by and saw it, they can't see it just driving by when it was at the PWAC parking lot location. So that would be great. And also it would be great to have an update on the West Side Connector and an update on where we're at with Clark Ranch Subcommittee redesign. That's all. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Griggs. I'll go next, unless Honorary Commissioner Moon, if you have any comments or future items for consideration.
Really quickly, I haven't been here for a while. I've been applying to colleges and I've been busy with in-person school. But I know that I had an honorary commissioner project and I was ready to present, but I think that night or that month, the meeting got canceled and I got really busy. But I'm still ready, so I mean that's an item for future consideration. Just to let you all know.
I am very happy you brought that up because that was actually on my list of items for future consideration. As I recall, Honorary Commissioner Moon, you had actually touched on Commissioner Griggs' future item, which was the bringing back of the farmers market. So anyway, and I don't know if that's still a viable thing. But,
yeah, I was going to propose it. I did something different for my project, but I did really like the farmers market idea. I know a lot of people my age, it's kind of funny to say, but farmers market is like the new aesthetic. And I think it's like I feel like people my age are getting more into like sustainability and being eco-friendly. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. It was big of a project, so I'm still down to support it and even help on it. So.
Okay. That's a wonderful angle. So definitely an item for future consideration. And your input's going to be very necessary. Okay, so my comments. Kiwanis is having its crab feed. It's a drive-through crab feed. We're not ambitious enough to have a hybrid. But the projected date is February the 26th. Commissioner Serventi downplays is very, very humble about her adopt a family announcement, but she does a tremendous job of organizing that and getting gifts and getting gifts and needed things to families in this season. So just great job. Big round of applause for Commissioner Servente. Kiwanis food distribution, quick announcement. It's instead of having it on the first and third Thursdays, it's now the third. It's now only happens on the third Thursdays. We've actually been working toward that. There is objectively less need as we go into 2022. So it's been happening for the last 2 years, the coordinator Sandy and Nance have done a wonderful job. But it's down to a third Thursday. Pickleball. Pickleball open play. We had a wonderful pickleball clinic with the good folks from the Napa, from the City of Napa Pickleball Group. That was a few weeks ago. And there's a small group out there that has open play on Saturdays. So the city has pickleballs and paddles, and you're free to head out there Saturdays, basically 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. to try it out and enjoy it. I've been doing it with a small group, and it's been a ton of fun. Yeah. Also, not too taxing on, not too physically taxing. Just put it at that. Items for future consideration. We're coming up. Well, new chair and new vice chair. We typically the turnover usually happens February of the year. Just make sure that you know that happens. The CBRS conference in 2022 is March. That's in Sacramento, and we understand from budgetary constraints that we can't send that the city can't send staff out there. But me and Alana and Vince are heading up there. We kind of have dual roles as not just, well, city staff and commissioners, but also members of other groups like CPRS District 1, and I'm in the California Parks, the California Parks and Recs Commissioners organization. So,
Chairman Emerald, if I might interject real quickly.
Sure.
When I came to find out that we hadn't budgeted for that, we've actually shifted some things around. So get with Liz, maybe offline. We are going to be sending staff, and we're not going to have people come out of pocket for that. You are representing the city. So apologize for any sort of misunderstanding on that and so forth. But we are, the city will be reimbursing or paying for those expenses for staff and for yourself for attending.
Thank you, Mr. Holly. That is wonderful news. Normally there would be a revolving commissioner that goes in there. Yeah, I think that will be another conversation, because we want to make sure that a commissioner other than another American Canyons Parks commissioner other than myself gets registered, and I'm not sure whose turn it is. Commissioner Sorrente?
I think that we all take turns, but we in the past we have made it a priority to send the newest one. So that will be Commissioner Griggs' turn to go.
Well,
So we all take turns, but
Maybe I can defer for a year? Not that I don't want to go, I just don't know what I'm signing up for, so I just like more information.
it's a conference, and it's
And how many
it's Parks
days?
and Rec, so it's fun.
Okay,
There you go.
wait, good selling point, Commissioner Sorrente.
Oh, yeah. Commissioner Griggs and any other commissioner that has attended the conference, I'd be happy to talk with you off camera about that. And also some clarity, whether there's a budget, Mr. Holly, for 2 commissioners as we've done in the past, or whether there's a budget for only 1.
At the moment there isn't any, and we're moving budget around to make the opportunity. If there's
Okay.
if there's another commissioner that wants to go, I put a huge value on integrating with the professional organizations and training and conferences. It's not a junket to Cancun, and so like I said, I know the worth that these conferences, particularly this one, provides. So if there's if there's someone who's dying to go, we'll find an additional amount of budget to make that happen. Like I said, particularly for staff, but also for the commissioners, there is no better way to network, and there's it's just a spider web of value when you can build that network outside of your own organization. It just pays dividends in ways you don't even anticipate until you need it and can draw upon it. So again, we put a huge value on it. I'll be attending the City Manager Conference in February. I routinely do that, and I also attend the league conferences. So anyway, they are small dollars for the amount of benefit, and And so it does definitely pay dividends. So if there's another commissioner who's interested, we don't necessarily have to decide. My guess is we could do that in February if you wanted. If there's another commissioner that wanted to go, or however you all want to do it, we will make the budget happen.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Hawley. I know from registering that early registration is better, although the early registration period has passed.
It's probably over, yeah.
Yeah. I'm already signed up, so basically if there is a opportunity for 2 other commissioners to go, I'll still be on my own dime, but I completely support that. So, okay, and that is it for me for items of future consideration. So, time is 7:25. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn our meeting at 7:25.
No, I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, no opposition, motion passes. Okay, thank you, everybody. Hope I see your lovely faces out there in the world before Christmas and New Year's, but in case I don't, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, everybody.
Yeah,
Same to
yeah,
you.
to you and to everyone.
Great.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Happy
Thanks, drive
holidays.
safe, Jason.
Bye.
Bye-bye.